All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Oscar De La Hoya had to say about Canelo Alvarez, and it was not a big compliment. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Oscar De La Hoya, Hall of Fame, welterweight, junior middleweight fighter, former promoter of Canelo Alvarez, gave his insights into what took place between Canelo Alvarez and DMITRY BIVOL, and in short, not very complimentary. Let's talk about that in this video, but before I do that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the bell, to subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do on a daily basis, and live streams we have on a daily basis. Very good boxing community. Don't always have to agree with me, but let's chop it up in the comment section. So make sure you guys do that and hit that like button on your way out if you don't mind. So let's get into this. Oscar De La Hoya tells it like it T.I. is. Said when asked about the fight between Canelo Alvarez and DMITRY BIVOL, which took place this week, which was a big upset. DMITRY BIVOL beats Canelo Alvarez by unanimous decision with very, very generous scorecards for Canelo Alvarez of 115, 113, 115, 113, and 115, 113. Oscar De La Hoya says that the thing that really stood out to him about the fight was that Canelo Alvarez was not able to make any adjustments. He said after the first, second, and the third round, I was like, somebody's going to have to make an adjustment here, and Canelo Alvarez never did it. And DMITRY BIVOL was very, very disciplined and can just continued on with his game plan, and all the way through the end of the fight, and easily won the fight. Was not a close fight. Pretty much a blowout performance for DMITRY BIVOL. And that's what I was saying when I saw the fight. I understand what he's talking about. Canelo Alvarez came in there with a game plan, which was the same game plan he had for Callum Smith, same game plan he had for Rocky Fielding, Yildirim, well, not Yildirim, but also Billy Joe Saunders, which was to walk the, and also Caleb Plant, which was to walk the guy down, throw really big shots to his body and to his arms, and eventually, get in a situation where he was going to be able to catch DMITRY BIVOL with a big shot and knock DMITRY BIVOL out. And it never came to fruition, and Canelo Alvarez did not make any adjustments the entire fight, just kept doing the same thing all the way to the end, and he lost the fight. Canelo Alvarez was like, Oscar De La Hoya. Now, for somebody like Oscar De La Hoya to say that, I know that there's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, Oscar De La Hoya is just hating because Canelo Alvarez was, used to be with Oscar De La Hoya, and he's not with Oscar De La Hoya anymore. And even if it was the case that Oscar De La Hoya is hating, does not mean that he's not telling the truth about what he sees, because that's pretty much what happened. Another trainer, Boozy Ennis, Jaron Ennis's father, also made a prediction, and because now Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso are talking about having a rematch with DMITRY BIVOL. And they're saying, look, man, he may actually get beat worse in the rematch than he did in the first go. Now, why wasn't Canelo Alvarez able to make an adjustment in that fight? I think Canelo Alvarez is, and I've said this in other videos, I just don't think that there was really anything that Canelo Alvarez could have adjusted to and done differently, other than just letting his hands go more, making sure he used his jab, kind of like what Mike Tyson said, use the jab and score with that jab against DMITRY BIVOL. Because if he would have done that, then he probably would have won the fight. However, not won the fight in the way where, most people win the fight, but win the fight in the way that Canelo Alvarez won the fight against Erislandy Lara and the way he won the fight against Austin Trout and the way that he got a draw on a card in the Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight and the way that he won, that he got a draw in the first Gennady Golovkin fight. According to many people, I thought he actually won that fight with Gennady Golovkin. However, and that would be on the scorecards, because the scorecards of the judges who seemingly were looking for a reason to give Canelo Alvarez the decision, because I've yet to hear anybody that says that they believe that fight was a what would that be when you win by 2 rounds, right? So what is that? 7 rounds to 5, right? That thinks that was a 7 rounds to 5 in favor of DMITRY BIVOL. Most people that I hear talk about that fight and give their scorecards for that fight have it 10-2, 9-8, and 9-8, really, to be generous. I just don't think that there's anything Canelo Alvarez could have done with the guy, and that is not, and it's not an insult to Canelo Alvarez. I just think that Canelo Alvarez is far along in his boxing career, and he went in there against a fresh fighter who only has 19 professional fights and who understood exactly what Canelo Alvarez was coming in there to do. One of the very underrated things about having longevity and being able to have, a consistently win against top level people is that eventually the book is out on you. People know how you're going to fight. They know what to expect. And that's what DMITRY BIVOL said about Canelo Alvarez. He said, look, I knew what to expect. As far as getting hit on the arms, I knew that's exactly what he did with Callum Smith, and I was prepared for it. I knew what he was going to do. Canelo Alvarez said before the fight that he knew that style and that he understood and knew how to beat the style of DMITRY BIVOL. Well, DMITRY BIVOL looked at the style of Canelo Alvarez and figured out how to beat Canelo Alvarez in that. I don't know if the fight is going to change in any legitimate way if Canelo Alvarez rematches DMITRY BIVOL. I do think, however, that he can probably get the win on the score. That he can probably get the win on the scorecards just by being more active and throwing more punches in more rounds than DMITRY BIVOL does. If he does that, the referee, or excuse me, the judges are going to get that man that scorecard. Are going to give him the fight, because that's the type of favoritism Canelo Alvarez has. On the other side of that, though, if DMITRY BIVOL steps up the gas on Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez really is not able to hurt him like he wasn't able to hurt him in the first fight, then that thing could go real south for Canelo Alvarez, and DMITRY BIVOL may step on the gas and maybe really hurt Canelo Alvarez. I think personally that Canelo Alvarez should probably just lick his wounds and keep it pushing right back down there to 168 pounds and fight the guys in those weight divisions who are his contemporaries and defend his belts, right? Going up there and having another fight with DMITRY BIVOL. I mean, what is that? I'm not even sure what him beating DMITRY BIVOL at this point is really even going to prove, other than, like I said, he's going to get the benefit of the doubt in the fight because that's Canelo Alvarez. But Oscar De La Hoya pointing out that the man could not make any adjustments. That's another reason to understand that Canelo Alvarez really and truly, man, is a very, very good fighter. But what people were saying about him heading into that fight, that he's the greatest fighter of all time and that nobody else can beat him, all that stuff is out the window. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think about what Oscar De La Hoya had to say. And with that, I'm out. Peace.